Shalom, shalom, shalom. This is Albadia / Obadiah, WFI Pittsburgh, bringing you another cold cut. But first and foremost, we want to give all glory and praises to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Barakatham. All glory and praises to our Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son. Now today's topic is going to be more so on, are you brothers or are you sisters still trying to please the flesh as you walking in this truth? Are you still trying to please the flesh? Now we know we wrestle against spirit and the flesh. That's that battle that we go to. But are you literally pleasing your flesh? Okay, so that's what I want to go into. I want to go into family, because a lot of family, my brothers come into this truth, the first thing they do is want to wake up their family members. Okay? And you got some brothers and some sisters out here that make that a priority to wake up their loved ones, their immediate family. And that's off. It's normal for us to wake up our families. That's normal. You get this truth, you understand it now. Now you're trying to save your family. That is normal. But what is off is when you make it your priority to wake them up. That's not your priority, and that's not your place. That's the place of the Most High. It's already set in stone. It's already ordained who He's going to wake up. So don't be spending too much time trying to wake up your loved ones. The Lord gonna call them in whenever He wants to call them in anyway. It's not up to you. That's any brother and sister that's doing that. Like I said, it's normal to want to wake up your immediate family. But you gotta understand, we gotta look at the broad picture. All 12 tribes is our immediate family. Right? So you bring this truth to all people that you can. Right? So I'm going to go to the book of Proverbs. Let's go ahead and get into it, Israel. Proverbs chapter 20, verse 24. Man's goings are of the Lord. How can a man understand his own way? So the Lord, man's goings are of the Lord. He's going to wake up who He want to wake up. It's not up to you. You know, your job, you can plant the seed. All of this is of the Most High. Whether who we plant the seed to or not, it's all of the Most High in that perfect perspective. But I'm saying to brothers and sisters who making it a priority to wake up their loved ones. Like they can wake up their loved ones. No, a lot of your loved ones gonna be destroyed. That's a tough pill to swallow. A lot of them, I got a huge family, man. And a lot of my family members is going to be destroyed. You ought to be thankful that God called you out of darkness into His marvelous light. Let me get the book of 1 Peter, chapter 2 and 9. It's the book of 1 Peter, chapter 2, verse 9. But ye are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a peculiar people, that ye shall show forth the praises of Him, that you shall show forth the praises of Him who have called you out of darkness into His marvelous light. It's all of the Lord to call you out of darkness into His marvelous light. It's up to Him to call your loved ones and your immediate family out of darkness into His marvelous light. Quit thinking that just because you up in this truth, that you got the power to wake up your loved ones. It's not up to you. It's not up to me. We got, first off, when we in this walk, I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to show you something. 1 Timothy 4 and 12. Because when we come into this walk, we want our people to wake up. But in order to wake up your family members around you that don't take heed when you plant that seed, it takes them watching you. It takes you leading by an example. This is the book of 1 Timothy chapter 4, verse 12. Let no man despise thy youth, but be thou an example. But be thou an example of the believers in word and conversation. When you in this truth and you around your family members, they're going to notice the change in you. If you keeping God's law, statutes, and commandments, if you walking in truth and sincerity, they're going to pick up on it. They're going to be watching you. as you telling them about scriptures, right, and putting a little bit on them here and a little bit on them there, they watching you. Because your relatives and your people, your family members and your immediate family, they know you better than anybody else in the world. They know the true you. They know how wicked you was. But by you being that example, that's how you could bring a lot of your family members in here. But you cannot be a hypocrite, Israel. When you being a hypocrite, that's going to turn a desire off. But if you walk in the truth and sincerity, a lot of them are going to follow you. They're going to see that you truly have changed. Every time you come around, you read in scriptures. Your conversation is not about cuss words and defiled language, right? You speaking upright. When you speak of the Bible, you speaking proudly, right? You like it, you love it, right? And they're going to see that. Conversation. Lead by an example. You can't go around them and you still got that gangster slang. That's not showing change at all. That's why we got to examine ourselves, Israel. So don't make it a priority to wake up your family. It's not your job. It's all of the Lord. He's going to wake up who he wants to wake up anyway. So don't be taking too much time out to be trying to wake up your family day in and day out. Here they getting this, they getting that. No, the Lord will have you running your mouth onto them day in, day out, week in, week out, month in, month out, and they're not taking heed to you. And then the Lord will direct them to the men on the streets and highways, and their words just like that, they get them to change just like that. But you put it all that work in because you think that you're powerful because you in this truth and you can change somebody. No. Like I said, when it comes to family, a lot of the times that they change is by your example. I know because I have family members in my family that changed by my example. At the time, I didn't know. But I wasn't going to know them holidays, eating pork, eating shrimp, shrimp, lobster. They couldn't get me to come to holidays. Every time I came around, I had precepts, and I would correct them on a lot of things. And I would like to show them out of the book, too. You see what I'm saying? And at the time, a lot of them didn't want to hear it, right? So I move on. Even I got family members today. They know the truth, right? They know that they Israel. They watch videos. But they ain't keeping God's laws, statutes, and commandments. And I got family members that have been converted, that is keeping God's laws, statutes, and commandments. Right? It's a very, 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 very few. Lead by an example. So don't be leaning in the flesh thinking that you can wake up everybody, okay? We're going to move on. The next thing, our topic I want to talk about is marijuana. Marijuana. Why is it that when brothers fall out the truth, the first thing they do is go and smoke weed? It's like if they couldn't wait to go back in the world to smoke that weed. It's like they came into the truth to get the understanding, but in the back of their head, they knew they was going to go back and get that blunt. Then God say, don't look back. Right? What happened to Lot's wife? You know, these scriptures is what corrects us. These accounts is what corrects us and lead us in the righteous path. What I want? Oh, talk about marijuana. Let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 3:16. 1 Corinthians 3:16. This is the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 16. Know ye not that ye are the temple of God, and the Spirit of God dwelleth in you? If any man defileth the temple of God, him shall God destroy. Him shall God destroy. So when you smoke weed, you defiling your temple. We're not supposed to be inhaling no smoke, Israel. And a lot of our people know this, so they try to justify it. They try to go to the doctors, you know, get the little card. All right, now I can be able to smoke now. A lot of our people do all they can to get that card. You know, you got brothers that pray for certain symptoms so they can be able to get that card so they can give them the right to continue to smoke weed. You got certain brothers that'll pray low-key for glaucoma. They'll pray for glaucoma or one of these symptoms so they can get that weed, man. But it's real, though, you know? But you're defiling your temple. right? You know what you really need, and the Most High know what you really need, right? And I'm going to prove that. Let me get the book of Wisdom of Solomon. It's the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 16, verse 12. For it was neither herb, nor minor flying plasters that restored them to health, but thy word, O Lord, which healeth all things. It's the word of the Lord that healeth all things. See, a lot of our people is caught up in that marijuana because they got that marijuana spirit on them. And that marijuana spirit, that's your God, right? How is it that your marijuana can be your God? Because that marijuana makes you feel good. When you down and you going through something, you stressed out, you run to the marijuana, you feel good now. You ain't running to, when you feeling down and mussed up and depressed, you're not running to the scriptures, you're not running to the Lord, but you running to that marijuana. That marijuana, it's a marijuana spirit on you, a marijuana demon on you, right? That got you trying to justify smoking it, right? You're going to get judgment for that, right? I'm going to read this again, then we're going to go ahead and move on. This is the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 16, verse 12. For it was neither herb nor minor flying plasters that restored them to health, but thy word, O Lord, which healeth all things. So the word of God heals all things. Quit running to that stuff, because it's only a matter of time that the Lord going to put a spirit on you to where it's going to be hard for you to get up off of that thing, right? I'm going to go to the book of, what I want, Psalm chapter 104:14. Psalms 104:14. Let's get some more on this, man. It's the book of Psalms, chapter 104, verse 14. And it reads, He causes the grass to grow. Back to that herb again. Because, see, this is the thing, Israel. These herbs that's down here is meant to heal us, to help us, to use as medicine. But what your oppressor do, he'll take something that's good and defile it and have you using it in a negative way that goes against our Heavenly Father, that have you breaking his laws. That's the whole point of keeping us down on the bottom, is by having us transgress the law. But let's go ahead and read it. It's the book of Psalms, chapter 104, verse 14. He causes the grass to grow for the cattle and herb for the service of men, that he may bring forth food out of the earth. Let me read it again. It's the book of Psalms, chapter 104, verse 14. He causes the grass to grow for the cattle and herb for his service. So the cattle and the herb is for our service. It's the food, right? It's for medicine. Food heals us. Water heals us, keeps us going. When you sick, you down bad, you got a cold or something, you got to drink them water. You got liquid up in you, man, right? He that causeth the grass to grow for the cattle and herb for the service of men, that he bring forth food out of the earth. So herbs is food that come up out of earth. A lot of the things, like I said before, Esau twisted up and make it defiled. So as we read, that we are the temple of God. Any man who destroy the temple of God, him shall God destroy. And that's going into shrimp, crab, lobster, pork, all type of things, the dietary law as well when it comes to destroying your body or your temple. Okay, keep your temple clean, Israel. All right, we're going to go to the next thing, which is money. Remember, the topic is those, are you still out here in the truth but still pleasing the flesh? Let's get it. Let's talk about the topic of money. We want to go to the book of 1 Timothy, chapter 6, verse 10. 1 Timothy, chapter 6, verse 10. Let's get it. This book of 1 Timothy, chapter 6, verse 10. For the love of money is the root of all evil, which while some converted after, they have erred from the faith. Money will cause a lot of brothers to err from the faith. How is that? Because they too busy on their money. You may have enough to pay your bills, but you want extra money so you can do extra things. So a lot of you will get 2 jobs, right? Some of y'all will go to the point where y'all get money by deceiving yourself or being deceptional by kind of going around things and doing certain things that will have you breaking the law, right? I need to get more specific, but I don't want to get more specific, but I got to get more specific for you to understand it. For instance, I worked a job, and the job was consist of work going, traveling back and forth to warehouses, okay? And they pay you for your food and your gas. So you could be deceptive by, because they will pay you for that. You would be deceptive by finding receipts, finding receipts on gas, finding receipts on food. You take a picture of it and then they reimburse you. You could take advantage of that. You could be one of those brothers that'll go in to work, clock in, and leave the building, and then come back to clock out. You clock in, do a little bit of work, and come back. See, don't let this money get brothers jammed up. I had to put that out there. If the Spirit put on me to put it out there, I'm putting it out there. I don't care about nobody else's feelings. And I'm not talking about any specific brother. I'm just talking about things that can help brothers grow and not serve the flesh more than the Spirit. You're supposed to be walking in the Spirit, so walk in the Spirit and try to put off that old man and don't look back, man. Grow. If you're growing, you're not looking back to do things of that nature anyway. You're not stealing. You're not doing none of that. So it's the book of 1 Timothy, and this is the things that come. Money is the root of all evil, because a lot of our people will work overtime to get money, right? So they can take their loved ones out, take the kids and all that out. Let's go on and read this book of 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 10. For the love of money is the root of all evil, while some converted after, which is some covet after, they have erred from the faith, and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. They pierced themselves through with many sorrows, because you got certain brothers that hustle, but when you get caught, you go to jail. Now you're sorrowful. You got brothers that hustle, get money, buy a fast car, drive it, wreck. You in a wheelchair, now you're sorrowful. You got brothers that be out here working hard, getting all this money, and it's showing brothers rob you. Now you're feeling sorrowful. So we got to be mindful of these things, Israel. This is the book of 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 10. For the love of money is the root of all evil, for which some covet after, they have erred from the faith, and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. But thou, O man of God, flee these things. Flee these things. Follow after righteousness, goodness, faith, love, prudence, and meekness. That's what we have to be doing, right? So don't get caught up in that money. A lot of brothers are still on that fleshly things, putting all that time in. Because when you're putting too much time in working, you ain't really putting enough time in studying. You ain't putting enough time in reading. You may be focusing on the bill heavy, you're trying to go on a vacation, and you're trying to put this work in. Yeah, you read a script from 2 and 2, but you're trying to get this work in. You know what I'm saying? You try to pray while you're on the go every now and then, but you're trying to get this work in. Settle down, man. The world about to be destroyed. What are you chasing anyway? I don't even know. Ain't nothing here good for me. I eat. We need food. We need a house over our head. But going out, now that's just off. And that's another thing. We're going to touch on. We're going to touch on whoremongers while we at it, yo. That's pleasing the flesh. A lot of brothers was out of before they came into the truth. Before God brought them out of darkness into his marvelous light. Brothers was whoremongers. You got brothers that was whoremongers in the world coming to the truth, find out that, we can have multiple wives. Now they got 2 or 3 wives here in the truth. None of their wives get along. None of them, you got maybe 1 out of the 2 listens to the Bible. The other ones don't want to hear it. Household all out of order. Let's get some scripts on this, man. I'm slacking for laughing, but man, hey, our people is something else, man. We're gonna go to the book of Hebrews. Hebrews chapter 13, verse 4. Hebrews 13 and 4. Let's get it. This is the book of Hebrews chapter 13, verse 4. Marriage is honorable in all, and the bed undefiled. But whoremongers, and adulterers God will judge. Don't trim your ways for this world, O Israel. Don't trim your ways. Whoremongers, look, marriage is honorable in all. If you was a whoremonger out in the world, you definitely want to have one wife. Don't come trying to bring that into the truth, man. You be converted, change. You ain't changing if you was a whoremonger in the world and you got 2, 3 wives. You ain't changing at all. You deceiving yourself. Especially if your house ain't in order. What I'm looking for. Give me the book of, what I want, Exodus 22 and 16. This is the book of Exodus, chapter 22, verse 16. And if a man entice a maid that is not betrothed, and lie with her, and sleep with her, he shall surely endow her to be his wife. So if you sleep with somebody, you considered married when it comes to the book. But when you sleep with somebody, we do have to put that on papers. And it's important that it be on papers, because if it's on papers, if you and your wife, if you wish, God forbid, to give up the ghost, your assets will go to your wife. And will go to the children. But if it's not on papers, when you die, guess where your money's going? To your mother, to your father, or one of your closest relatives. And you better hope your relatives is in that truth. Otherwise, if they, Lord willing, they may give your wife a few dollars for your kids. Well, a lot of our people, it's a wicked world we living in. But that's why it's so important to be on papers. But since I brought that up, let me go ahead and get to Genesis, because I don't want to cause no confusion. I know it'd be a lot of confusion comes when it comes to marriage. What I want. Genesis 24:67. Genesis chapter 24, verse 67. 69. 67. And this is the book of Genesis chapter 24, verse 67. And Isaac brought her unto his mother Sarah's tent to take Rebekah, and she became his wife. And he loved her. Let me read it again. Let's get some clear understanding. See, I got scribbled on it so I can't see it clear. My children got hold of my sword. And Isaac brought her unto his mother Sarah's tent. Don't look at a tent as a tent. What he brought it to? No, just look at a tent as a house. Isaac, in modern day, you know how simple Jake is. Isaac took Rebekah into his mother's house. And he slept with her. He laid with her. And they became, and she became his wife. Let me read it again. And Isaac brought her into his mother Sarah's tent, and took Rebekah, and she became his wife. And he loved her, and Isaac was comforted after his mother's death. Okay? I know that was kind of choppy, Salakia. I'm going to go to the book of Ephesians chapter 5, verse 31 real quick. And this is for you whoremongers, you brothers that was whoremongers in the world, and you still bringing that whoremonger spirit. You have not changed. Don't deceive yourself. I'm going to tell you. This is the book of Ephesians chapter 5, verse 31. For this cause shall a man leave his father and mother, and shall be joined unto his wife. And they two shall be one flesh. Gotta read it again, Israel. It's the book of Ephesians chapter 5, verse 31. For this cause shall a man leave his father and mother, and shall be joined unto his wife, and they two shall be one flesh. So don't be trimming your ways for this world. Walk in the spirit, man. Be changed, be converted. Everybody, examine yourselves. Do not we know our own selves? I'm gonna go to the book of 2 Corinthians 6:14. 2 Corinthians 6:14, because a lot of our people too is, are you, your homeboys and your family in the world, are you kicking it with them a lot? Now you in this truth, but are you kicking it with them a lot? That's off. I'm about to spawn on it. Let me see how much time I got. These videos will be cutting off on me. I gotta try to keep it short. Alright, this is the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 14. Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. For what fellowship have righteousness with unrighteousness? And what communion have light with darkness? So don't be unequally yoked. You still got friends in the world that you dealing with. You know what I'm saying? Y'all go out twice a week, that's off. Because guess what? It's always going to be your friend that want to go to a club. Now, a lot of times you will pit that off. Now, I ain't going to the club, and that'll be that one time that you can, I go to the club. Maybe I need to go there, protect him or something like that nature. I drink in moderation. I ain't going to get to drink drunk. But I ain't been out with the brothers in a long time. Let me just go out with them and see how it is. You go to a nightclub, you begin to sip, they turned up, Now you around all these damn demons. What you think, ain't one of them spirits gonna hop on you? Hey, Satan know how to come at you. Satan is send one of them drunken sisters your way. Let's say an Edomite. He might even send an Edomite your way. This Edomite say hi. Now you lose control of your eyes. Now when they say hi, you like, hey, how you doing? She move on. You look right down at her behind. Say hi. Hey, how you doing? Next thing you know, you sipping a little bit more, and now you checking out all the women. Your eyes constantly going down. You looking at it all. See, pretty. See what I'm saying? That'll get brothers jammed up. That's why we are not to be unequally yoked with unbelievers, because the unbelievers are going to be in the darkness. They live in the darkness. We live in the light, so we're supposed to be set apart from the light. Live in the light and don't set yourself up. Don't go to no goddamn going club. Don't go around your friends when you know your friends in the road smoke weed. So you around your friends, y'all riding in the car. They, oh, hey, you can smoke, it don't bother me. I ain't gonna smoke. They smoking. You in the passenger seat, y'all just chilling, huh? Y'all just chilling. And then when you going around certain brothers for a certain amount of time, then you gonna end up smoking. Let's just be real. Let me read this one more time. We're gonna go ahead and move on real quick.